Afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. And today, the goal is to talk about is how can you age gracefully at home, stay at home as long as possible, and enjoy those well-deserved golden years. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we are going to get started. Here we go. As some of you already know, and some of you, it's nice to see so many new faces. My name is Olga St Pierre, and I am a senior real estate living specialist. And what does that mean? It means that I have been helping clients move across the United States and Canada for the last 16 years. And we offer a complete senior transition concierge service. So think of it this way. As the time comes and you want to stay in your home, sometimes I am going to ask you some of these challenging or maybe serious questions that maybe you don't want to think about yet. I just want to put a hand on your shoulder and say, what if? Right, that is an important question that I'm going to ask you today throughout this presentation. And I encourage you to think of me as your virtual yellow pages. So that way, if you are looking for any kind of resources, whatever it may be, kind of like A to Z yellow pages, I'm here to help you. And that could be professional organizers or contractors or community research assistants or what if, or some of the other questions, or maybe legal paperwork. What do I need? I'm here to help you. In other unofficial capacity, besides being a senior real estate living specialist, I also have probably a couple of dozen other titles to my name, and they are an adult guidance counselor, a therapist, a mediator and the peacekeeper in the family or among siblings or children, confidant, psychologist, sounding board, a dog walker by choice because I'm a cat mom and I also love dogs, house and person checker, and probably a few others that I can't think of right now, but they definitely absolutely do make sense to me. So here are some of the things that I encourage you to think about as we're going through and we're talking about this important topic. And a lot of you know, and I'm going to share with you again, is to have one of these guys nearby. Have a notebook of some sort, a notepad, or something that you can physically write down with a pen, right? You need a pen and a notebook to help you and guide you through this process. And I think that a lot of us keep a lot of these thoughts in our head, and then it just kind of bounces off back and forth somewhere and just rattles in our brain. And this is why we have a hard time sleeping, because we have all of these questions and we just don't know what to do, and we're not able to get maybe answers right away. And the research has been done where if you were to use a notebook and jot down some of the questions and just write down some of the things that are bothering you, it has been proven that it is going to be very helpful. So here's the list of questions that I suggest that you brainstorm. And I also want you to know that you're not going to get answers to these questions right away. It is okay to take your time and just kind of think things through and jot down some thoughts, and they may not be the final answer. And it's also okay not to have the final answers to all of these questions. Okay, so here's where we're going with this. The number one question that I want to ask you, that I suggest that you ask yourself, is your home, you know better than me, and how many of you have been in your home for 30, 40, or maybe 50 years? The number one question that you need to ask yourself is my home safe for me right now where I am in my journey based on how old I am now? And what do I think am I going to be at in my health journey, in my financial journey, 3, 5, 10 years from now? And if some things may need to be done in my home, what kind of home modifications am I going to do? And what does that look like? So I don't want you to start worrying about and getting anxious about, oh my God, what does that mean? What do I need to do? And then you kind of start looking around yourself, is because we have the tools to help you, right? Remember I told you that I was a resource? I absolutely am. So home safety assessment is critical to help you determine what modifications that you may need for your home. It is a very comprehensive checklist. It is a guide that you can use. If you want, you can do this assessment yourself. You can have your children do it, or this is something that we can also help you with as well. It's going to walk you through your home, both on the interior as well as the exterior, and ask you important questions to review all aspects of your home. We're talking about tripping hazards. We're talking about railings or maybe no railings. We're talking about laundry in your basement. Do we have a primary bedroom on the second floor? Is the yard too big? All of these things are going to be a part of this assessment. So as we go through this, I just want you to think about how some of these little tidbits are going to apply to you as to where you are in your own home and how is your home fitting you. So, number one question, how much furniture do you have? How many of you have too much stuff and have too much furniture? One of my favorite questions to ask, and you are welcome to put your answers in the chat if you want, is do you know what a general number of stuff, personal things, items that an average American household has? If anybody has any thoughts, you're more than welcome to share in the chat. And if not, here's the number. 300,000 pieces of stuff, of crap, of things that we probably don't even know where they are and what they do, because here's the fact for you as well. The things that we have up in our attic and the things that we have in our basement those are the areas where things go to die, because you most likely will never see them or touch them again. So 300,000 pieces of things that are probably laying around, and a lot of the times, probably 70 or 80% of the stuff that you have in your home, you probably don't even use. So do we have too much furniture? Is that going to be something that is a concern to you? Because potentially, and you can answer that question, another 3, 5, or maybe 10 years, you may need to have a walker or a wheelchair. Are you going to be able to comfortably maneuver around your home and be able to do that safely because you have thought this through? So this is where we recommend that you create a safe room by room flow and have a floor plan that you can create for each room. And then from that, you can say, okay, each room that I have, whether it's your bedroom, it's your den, kitchen, or office, or something else, I know that these are the pieces that are important to me. These are the only things that I'm going to have, and then I'm going to get rid of the rest. So what are we going to do with the rest of the stuff? I took some of these tidbits from our monthly declutter class. You are always welcome to sign up for it, and I will share those resources for you as well at the end. Is decluttering does not have to be a negative word. What you are doing is actually right-sizing your belongings to make them work well for you where you are right now in your life journey, whatever that chapter is for you. So we're going to use our room inventory list to take action, and we're going to use simple categories to help you figure out and divide things. And we're going to do it a little bit at a time, a little bit maybe every day or a few days a week, so that way it doesn't become strenuous to you. Things we're going to keep, sell or donate, things that we're going to give to family, and the rest is going to be trash. Now, I want you to also understand that you don't have to do it alone. And I think a lot of people can get overwhelmed or discouraged and say, you know what, I don't have the energy. I don't have the strength to go get this stuff. Maybe it's stuck in the attic or somewhere else, or those boxes are heavy. You can get help of organizers, of haulers, and the appraisers to help you, and that is all part of our resources. My suggestion to you is set mini goals, just small things to help you get things done, because as you do one small thing, then another small thing, then another small thing, everything is going to add on and you're going to make progress and get things done. So scheduling appointments is just like the appointment you would set with your doctor. Make sure that you put your right sizing and decluttering appointments on your calendar as well. And next would be creating a home modification improvement list that you can then take to a contractor and ask them for an estimate. My suggestion to you is get at least 3 to 4 estimates, so that way you can get an idea and make a judgment to say, okay, these are the prices that I'm going to have to work with these days, because you will be surprised. In the last 3 to 5 years, the prices of everything, including labor, have really jumped. And that is just something that we have to work with, which means that if those numbers may be too much for you, could that mean that you have to do a little bit more planning? Maybe just save up for a little bit longer, make plans. And as you can see, that is something that maybe can take time, which means that you're going to have to rework your time frame. Okay. And what does that number look like in financing? Let's take a look at our budget sheet and figure things out. So what kind of home modifications are we talking about? I am a visual person, and so are a lot of others, and I think a lot of you are as well. So I just wanted to give you kind of food for thought. What does that mean when you say, Olga, home modifications? What are you talking about? Well, here's just a small example that we literally took from our home safety assessment. Varying counter heights, elevated dishwashers, pull down, roll out shelves, swiveling cabinet doors with the Lazy Susan style, rolling carts. As you can see, kind of the pattern here, we're going to do rollouts, we're going to do pull outs, dark and light contrast colors, side-by-side refrigerator, heat-proof surfaces, knee space underneath cooktops and sinks, eliminating sharp corners, additional lighting, and having microwaves accessible lower, so that way they're not just hanging above the oven. So these are just some of the things for you to think about as you are going through your home and starting to think about these modifications as well. So if we go into the bathroom, because I wanted to give you some examples in specific rooms of their home. In the bathroom, what are we talking about? Step-in shower, bench, and grab bars, elevated toilet seats, handheld shower heads, non-skid mats or non-slip mats, and wider doorways. We're talking about safety items here, right? So a lot of the times where we start out in the home to make sure that things are safe for you are going to be in your bathroom as well as in your kitchen. In stairways, we have adequate grip rails on both sides that extend beyond the landings, lighting around the stairway, contrasting colors to help you with visual cues. And if we had to work some things and you really said, Olga, I absolutely want to stay in my home and I have the financial resources to do that, this is where we're talking about investing some other ways to help you. That could also include chair lifts, platform lifts, and elevators. And then on the exterior, we're talking about safety and stepping hazards, ramps on the entry if we needed to, smooth exterior walkways, and motion sensor lights. So a few general things to consider. This is what we start out with. Whenever I meet with clients, I go through the home and we start brainstorming ideas. This is what we're talking about. Number one, is it possible, and how can we do this, to have a primary bedroom and full bath and the laundry on the first floor? That is number one goal. How do we make it happen? Do we have the space to expand the bathroom? Do we have the ability to put doors on the living room that rarely gets used, or maybe a family room? What does your home look like to figure that out, right? Or we can even change the dining room into a bedroom if we could. That's one. Two, if there's absolutely no way to make that work, another option is, if you are not going anywhere and you say, Olga, absolutely no to any senior living options, I don't want to go anywhere else, I want to be my own home. What if we were to then look into options of downsizing into a rancher style? That is where the whole living from top to bottom is going to be on one floor, and you won't have to worry about steps. Your laundry is going to be on the first floor. You're going to have your bathrooms. And that is, again, number one concern is for your safety. Flooring. Let's talk about flooring. The goal is something that is easy that does not have ripples. If your carpet is older and shaggy and you have those ripples, it is time to replace it. Let's not stretch it, or if it has already been stretched, you cannot really stretch carpet again. So we're talking about maybe hardwood floors, tile, laminate, and vinyl. Or if you really are into carpet, let's replace it with something that is not shaggy and more of a smoother surface. Lever style doorknobs can be helpful for those people that have a limited range of motion, where, you know, if you're not able to do this with a handle because of your hands, then you can definitely use a lever. That's also one of the easiest ways that you can do. And technology. I know you guys sometimes are just opposed because it is scary, it is unknown. What I am here to tell you is that technology is here to stay. I can tell you that myself, I'm not in the baby boomer generation. I am right behind you in the Generation X. I don't like some of the technology as well. I hear you. I totally understand. However, it is time for you guys to embrace some of it. Don't have to be everything. It doesn't have to be the latest gadgets, but let's think about those things that you are comfortable with to help you make your life easier, to be able to communicate easier with your loved ones. Because some of this technology you can use to call 911, or maybe if you fall and you cannot access your cell phone, which I have had that happen with a loved one, you can actually call Amazon and say, hey, Alexa, call emergency, I need help. And Alexa will do that for you. So for tech tools that can make your life easier and help you with safety, we're talking about Google Nest and Amazon Echo, motion sensor lighting, timers, medical alert systems, and I'm also including like Ring doorbells outside. If you don't want to open somebody's door, but you want to check and see who is there, you can use it because it's right here on your phone. And again, it's safety to help you have a peace of mind. So who can help? I also included this page, which may or may not be relevant to some of you because a lot of these resources are available to lower income individuals. Yet I encourage you to explore these options and check with your county Office on Aging that has a lot of these resources put together. Habitat is a great organization that helps veterans and other older individuals. Health and wellness. So these are some additional questions that I am adding on here so that way when you get this workbook, I encourage you to go back to this page and just read things through and ask yourself these questions. Being able to move and have social interactions and being able to drive to get to places is very important. You know, overall, we as humans are social creatures. We need interaction with others, even though, you know, depending on your personality, you may want more or less of it, depending on how you are naturally wired. So, where are we in terms of social activities, as well as what are we talking about daily living, and potentially think about kind of where you are right now in your depending in your health, and where do you think you're going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. Could it be that you say, Olga, I definitely want to be at home. I will make whatever modifications I need to make. Great. Well, what about you as a person? What kind of help are you going to need potentially down the road? And what are some of those resources? Could it be that I may want to speak with someone from a home care agency because I am going to need some help, or maybe my spouse is going to need some help, and that's okay. It is absolutely okay to ask for help, but let's look at some of these resources now and maybe talk to some of these home care agencies. And as you know, I am your good idea and resource fairy. So please don't hesitate to reach out, and I'm happy to make these recommendations for you. So, what can an in-home care do for you? Actually, quite a few things. So, number one thing that you want to keep in mind is that home care agencies are all different. However, you definitely want to reach out to them when you are looking for help, because home care agencies are going to be licensed as well as insured, and it's very, very important. They provide different services. They provide services for different amount of time. It could be a couple hours a day. It could be a couple hours a week, depending on each individual's need, of course. But what are we talking about? Mobility assistance, transportation, meal preparation, light housekeeping, medication reminders, and chronic illness care, depending on your medical situation. So this is something that I always recommend, and I'm going to also stress to you as well. Overall, I'm glad that you're here because you are being proactive and you are looking at your situation and you're also exploring other options. And that's exactly what my goal is that for you to have this information so that way you can do your research before you need this information to actually implement. So do your research ahead of time. Let's figure out what companies are available in your area that are trustworthy and have really good reputation. Ask for recommendations from friends and family, and also be familiar and get familiar with the costs because they're there, they're not going away. And most of the time at home care is going to be private pay. It is not going to be covered by Medicare, but it is important to understand what the differences are. Transportation. That is important because at some point, maybe you're not going to be able to drive yourself. What does that mean? Do you have someone else that can help you? We're talking about getting you to doctor's appointments, grocery stores, errands, and of course, social events, which is also very important. Personal finances. This is something that I talk about in every workshop that I share and teach. And I encourage you, no matter where you are in your journey, if you don't have a budget sheet, please, let's start with something perhaps as soon as when you're done listening to this workshop. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. You don't need an Excel spreadsheet. However, of course, I'm happy to share one with you to make your life a little bit easier, but you need to have something. And again, this is where your trusty notebook is going to come in handy because what you need to do is create a sheet of say, okay, I am now on a fixed income because I'm retired. What is the income that I have coming in? My Social Security, maybe you have pension, maybe you have your requirement distributions, you have annuities. What do they look like? So that's going to be one. And two, what are my expenses right now? Is there a possibility that they're going to increase, which they may, especially if you need more health-related care or your health challenges are going to increase as you get older. But what is my budget? Where's my money going to every month? And how does it fluctuate, perhaps depending on the time of the year it is? And then let's compare. Let's compare if you were to stay at home, what would that look like? And if you were to go into senior community, because perhaps that may be something that you may not want to consider now, but it might be an option, what would that look like if you did? So here's the statistics that I can share with you. Majority of you want to stay in your home and enjoy your golden years in the place that you love, where you have a lot of memories. This is where you raised your family. I completely understand. However, 70% of you, 7 out of 10 of you are just not going to be able to stay at home. And most of the time it has to do with healthcare challenges. That is the fact. That is the statistics. These are the numbers that we have to work with. So I, as your resource and your guide, encourage you to think about that. What if this is going to be one of you in that 70% category? What is plan B for you? And in order for you to figure this out and to brainstorm, you need to know your numbers because your numbers are going to be that overview that is going to be on just one page for you to list it and say, okay, this is what I have. And when you have the knowledge, it is power for you to be able to make informed decisions so that way you have a control of how you want to proceed next based on the information that you have. Other financial considerations for you to kind of keep in mind, private pay, as we talked about, is going to be your personal savings and your investments. If you have an advisor, great. Now is a good time to set up an appointment and talk to them. You really should be checking in with your financial advisor twice or 3 times a year to make sure that nothing has changed, or if there's any changes in the IRS rules or new tax laws or anything else that is crucial for you to remember. And also, there are some really great accreditations that financial advisors have that matter when what you're trying to do is preserve the money that you have saved and you work so hard for. So who are we talking about? Retirement management advisors, retirement income certified professionals, and chartered retirement planning counselors. So all of these designations are really great, especially if you want someone who is going to work with those folks like you who are in the stage of how can I make sure my money lasts as much as possible, because that is the goal. We don't want you to run out of money. Another option that I have for you, and you have heard a lot of things about, is reverse mortgage. What I can tell you is that it has gotten really bad reputation for many reasons in the past. However, it is a good option for some of you, and it is a not good option for a lot of you as well. It all depends on your personal circumstances, but knowing the information and knowing what the options are and understanding that this could be one of the options is the power that you want to have, and you just need to see the numbers. Okay, so there's ways of you to do this and ways for you to be able to figure out if this is the right move for you. It depends on your age, it depending on your home. However, speaking with someone who fully is committed and who understands reverse mortgages is very important. And the last item that I also included on this slide is for you to start thinking about and understanding the differences between Medicare, which is what everybody gets in terms of your federal coverage, as well as Medicaid, which is a state program that varies state to state, that also provides insurance and other benefits to those that have lower income. Is it the right move for everybody? No. Is it going to be available to everybody? No, because it all depends on the series of circumstances. But just please understand that this is something that you want to look into, just so you understand, again, having that information is power. Other financial considerations: health insurance, long-term care insurance, understand what's covered and for how long, especially with long-term care insurance. Depending on when you obtained your plan, it may only last you for a certain period of time. VA benefits. I am a big proponent of understanding and helping our veterans because my husband is a veteran. There are benefits that are available to qualifying veterans as well as their spouses, which include monetary assistance and supportive services. So as you can see, we're talking about all these things. And what I encourage you to understand is that going through all these things, reading up and getting familiar with this information, all of it planned, is going to take your time. So this is why I encourage you to start today. Even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just allocating a notebook and jotting down your worries and concerns, it is a great start where you would be. Community and social interaction, as you know, it is extremely important. We talked a little bit about that already. I just want to give you some ideas and thoughts, because some people are like, well, what am I going to do once I'm retired? There's a million things you can do. I have known people, and there's countless examples of seniors who have started their companies once they retired. Tons of different people. So it could be social interaction, it could be volunteering, it could be some kind of local community, it could be doing some consulting for small business administration, it could be taking classes that you can do a lot of the times for free as a senior. All of these things are available to you. There's tons of them in different area. So I encourage you to explore and see what these options are in your area. Next up is something that is critically important, and I encourage you to make plans for it and to do this in person, is sitting down with your loved ones, whether it's your children, grandchildren, or your siblings, and having an honest conversation on what it is that you yourself are trying to accomplish. And here is what I want you to truly understand, and I really invite you to do that, is that number one, it is okay to ask for help. Absolutely. Number two, it is okay to let others know how you feel and what your wishes are. Number three, it is okay not to have all the answers right now. It is okay just to start with something because, again, it's a start and it's a progress that you're making. And number four, please understand that every single person around you who is the same age as you or in that same age group has the same types of worries, anxieties, concerns, and the questions. You are absolutely not alone. And that's why having the support, knowing that there are resources and other people like myself that are around you to help you is so important. You don't have to go through this alone. If your family's not helping you and they're not nearby, that's okay. We will help you get where you need to be because you deserve it. Absolutely, absolutely. So, some of the things to talk about and discuss in the honest conversation and to prepare for are your wishes, legal documents, where to find your important documents, who is going to be in charge if you are still alive, but it's that person needs to be your power of attorney because you are not able to make those decisions, who is going to be in charge when you pass, who is going to handle your estate, and is this person comfortable doing that? Because not everybody is. Who is your team? The team that is on your side to help you, your attorney, your financial advisor, your accountant, your doctors, and what is their contact information? And what is your plan? Your financial plan, your health plan. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? So, as you can see, we dove into a lot of different things. And of course, is the goal for you is say, Olga, you can help my family take me out of here in the box. And I'm more than happy to do that. However, the plan is still needs to get done. And what unfortunately a lot of the times people do is they wait. They say, well, I'm feeling fine right now. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. However, everybody, we're all mortal. We never know when our time is up and when we get called up to the next chapter. And knowing that you have some preparation to be done and that your loved ones know what your wishes are is going to be one of the most amazing things that you can do. So, what's next? If I was to sit in front of you right now and say, hey, Kathy, hey, Joan, hey, Rich, here's what I suggest that you do next. Here it is. Here's your game plan and action plan. Number one, grab a notebook and start writing down the feelings, your thoughts, and start making some plans right now, even if it's just a little bit every day. Again, remember, you're going to do one foot in front of the other every day, and it's going to propel you, move forward you in a positive direction. Do not wait until it's hard to climb those stairs. Don't wait until you can't step into that bathtub and you fall, and then the doctor is going to tell you you cannot come home, because that has happened to some of my clients. Don't wait until it's a serious fall and now we have some hard decisions to make. Have a meeting with your loved ones as soon as possible. Let's do that home safety assessment and let's figure things out and see what has to get done. And let's get these documents to help you make your planning a little bit easier. All these resources are available to you at no charge. You just need to let me know if you would like me to mail it to you, if you would like it to email it to you. That is your choice. I'm more than happy to do that. And of course, please join us for some other workshops that we have. We have something that is cooking every week of the month. We have our declutter workshop that we do every month. And more, we are coming back into the actual community space and we're doing more things face to face because I love to see you. I love to give you hugs and talk to you in person and ask you, how are you feeling and what is bothering you and how can I help you make this process a little bit easier, this planning a little bit less daunting. That really is my passion. So you can check out our full schedule at the link at bit.ly link here at the bottom of the page. It's called Live with Olga, and see what else is going on. And this page is all about resources and how to get in touch with me. And please don't hesitate because I answer my phone. This is my cell phone. This is my email. Let me know how I can help you. Let's do the safety assessment of your home. Let's get all your questions answered. If you would like to speak to me in privately, let's meet and talk and figure things out and strategize. I'm more than happy to help you. I'm here to, of course, give you recommendations for anyone that you can think of and let you know what is next. A lot of you had asked me to make a list of tools and technology and things that I talk about in my workshops, and I do have it. It's sitting in my Amazon. If you click on this link under my name, everything that I talk about and some of my helpful suggestions for you to look into purchasing, or really its investment in your safety, is right here on our Amazon store account. And of course, everything that I talk about on Zoom is recorded, and you can find this information on 2 of my channels. One is Olga St Pierre. It's all about living well in retirement. And the second one is At Home with Olga. This is where all of our recordings and other helpful videos are housed. So this is what I have to share with you today. And let me know if there's any questions. And let me know what else maybe that I haven't addressed or haven't answered, because I'm more than happy to do that. And of course, as you know, if you would like to talk to me in person, I'm here for you. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm never too busy. I'm always happy to answer questions and brainstorm. My husband calls me a good idea fairy, because that's what I am. I naturally want to help people and brainstorm ideas and help solve your situations and problems and help make your life just a little bit easier. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and the week, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye-bye.